hello, thank you so much for clicking on this video and welcome to my first update for the Pandas Eyeshadows project. This project was created by Alexi and basically you just have to roll in eyeshadows and hit pan on them. That's the basics of it. You can have rules or not, depends on what you want to do. In my case, I roll in 5 different eyeshadows from my spreadsheet where I have all of my eyeshadows from the oldest to the newest, and then I just hit pan on them, or I use them in order to hit pan on them. And I was actually able to hit 3 pans in this first month, and I'm super shocked with that because I haven't done this project in a long time and I was doubting myself. I was doubting that I was able to have this kind of progress. I don't think I'm going to have the same progress in the next month, but I'm super happy I was able to hit 3 pans in this first one because I actually have a little secret to tell you, so please don't tell anyone, because this first month where I was playing with all of these eyeshadows, it was actually 2 months because I filmed the intro back in August because I was doubting myself, as I said before. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get into this project as much as I wanted to. I didn't know if I was going to have good progress, so I gave myself a bit more than a month so I could get into it, and I think I was able to. But then again, I don't think I will have the same progress during October, but we'll see. Starting with my color story, I feel like it was a pretty good one for me to start because yes, I had some neutral shades like the brown one and the purple. It's kind of neutral, not really, but you can do it in a neutral way. And then I had the greens, which was good because I was able to mix everything together. For example, the greens worked very well together. Of course, they're all greens. The brown went well with all the other shades, and the purple shade went really well with the shimmery greens. So I feel like it was a good color story for me to start. I was doubting it a little bit at first because I was like, okay, this seems too colorful. Plus, I will talk about the shades in a bit, but for me, I do feel like that brown, it's not exactly my neutral brown, my favorite neutral brown, so yeah, but I'll talk about each shade in a minute. But yeah, before I get into the shades, can you tell which ones I hit pan or not? Like from this color story, can you tell which ones I was able to hit pan or not? Yeah, let's go. The first shade comes from the Revolution So Super Spice palette, and it is the matte green shade. It is the shade Mama. I feel like that's how you say it, but it is this matte green shade, and as you can see, I did not hit pan on this one, but I did have fun with it. I used it 6 times, only 6 times, and at first when I rolled it into this project, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it because it's more of a newer shade in my collection. Not really new, but of the newer palettes in my collection. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it, and I've decided that I'm just going to use it 20 times and then roll it out, because I have older palettes where I actually want to hit pan on stuff, and these newer palettes that are not new in my collection but are newer, I don't really want to hit pan on them, or that's not really the goal for right now, so I'm just going to use it 20 times. But yeah, we'll see how long this is going to take me, but so far I'm liking it. I don't have a lot of experience with this palette. It could be a better shade of green, but I don't know if it might just be the green shade, because we all know some shades can get tricky. So yeah, this is not my favorite green shade, but I'm really liking using it, and I will continue to use it until I hit the 20 uses. So next one. The next shade comes from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and it is the Pukey shade. It's a brownie shade, and as I've said before, it's not really my favorite brown, but let me show you the shade first, okay? So you can see that this shade, I was able to hit pan on it, and I'm super happy about it. It's a tiny bit of pan. I know, not huge. I don't even know if you can see it there. Probably not. But yeah, I have another pan in this palette. Now I have 5 pans in this palette, and I'm super happy about it. I was able to use this shade 18 times, but I hit pan on it on my 16th use. And as I've mentioned before, this is not my favorite brown shade. Not because this is a bad formula or anything, but if I had to choose a neutral shade, I would probably go more towards this one because it's a bit more neutral for me. This one looks a bit more yellowy, and with certain looks, it might not really go together with my skin tone. So that's the only thing, but that's just a minor thing. But I'm super happy I was able to hit pan on it, so we have a new one coming in. The next shade comes from the Revolution Soap Extra Spice palette, and it's a very reflective packaging. The shade that I was working on was this mulled wine shade, and as you can see, I didn't hit pan on this one, so you can guess I hit pan on the next two shades, but let's talk about this one first. This is a purpley shade, and I only used it 9 times compared to the eyeshadows I actually hit pan on. I used them a lot more. I don't think I have much to talk about this shade. It was just a normal purpley eyeshadow. I did use this Enchanted sometimes just to dip in this one out, but yeah, it went really well with the brown shade, and I was able to use it that way if I didn't want a purple eye look and I just wanted something a bit more toned down. So yeah, I had fun with it. I don't know when I'm going to hit pan on it, but yeah, I don't really have much to talk about this one. It was just a purple eyeshadow. So yeah, next one. So let's get ready for the 2 next pans because that's all we're here for. But yeah, so the next one comes from the I Heart Revolution Mini Tasty Avocado palette, and the shade that I was working in was the 7th shade. So it is this shade, and as you can see, I have a pretty good, I forgot the word, pen on it. I have a really good pen on it. I used it 20 times, but I was actually able to hit pan on it on my 19th use. And I say hit because this eyeshadow was very tricky. I hit pan on it probably a few uses prior, probably 3 uses before. But what would happen is I would use it, I would see a bit of pen, I would use it again, and the pen would disappear. And I was like, okay, no pen. Next day, I would use it again. Oh, there's pen. Then I would use it again, and the pen would disappear. And I was like, okay, no pen. Because I only count it as a pen when I use it and the pen is there, because if I'm using it and it gets covered again, I'm not counting it as a pen. I need to see the pen. Then I used it again, the same thing happened, and then finally I was able to get a pen, and a pretty good one, because of course I had hit pen before, so it was already growing a bit. So yeah, I have a really good dip on it, and I'm pretty happy about this one. This shade was actually pretty surprising to me because I look at this palette and it wouldn't be the shade that I would be drawn to, because I bought this palette because I wanted a green palette. And although that shade has a bit of green in it, it's not the most green shade out there, but it is pretty good. For example, if you put it over a green matte, because it has a green tint to it, but it is kind of a light shade, it just gives a lot of dimension to the eye. It is beautiful, and I really liked it. And because it is green, but it isn't super green, I was able to use it with the brown shade and with the purple shade, and it looked very nice. So I really like this one. I'm happy I have pen on it. So yeah, really happy to roll this one out because I just want to play with new things. So yeah, next one. So the last shade comes from the W7 Vivid Glowing Green palette, and the shade that I was working on was this middle shade, and I'm super happy that I have pen on it. The pen is pretty big as well, if you ask me. It's not the biggest pen. This one is a bit bigger, but I'm super happy to have a big pen because normally when I hit pens, I just hit a tiny baby pen and that's it. But these 2 last shades, I was able to hit a very good pen. This one, I also used it 20 times because every time I was using the other green shade, I would be putting this one on top and also on the inner corner. Hopefully I continue to use it because I have a lot of fun with it and it just looks amazing, especially with green eyes. You can be sure if I do a green look, this one is going on my inner corners because it just looks amazing and it just completes the look so good that I cannot live without this one, you know? If I want to do a green look, this one needs to be there. So yeah, these were all the eyeshadows that I had to use, and I'm so happy that I was able to hit 3 pens. That's amazing. For a first update from me, that is amazing, but as I said before, I was actually using it for 2 months, so yeah. But let's talk about pen percentage. My pen percentage went from 6.3% to 7.1%. So that's amazing. Hopefully in a year I do have more than 10%, but for now 7.1 is amazing and I'm super excited about it. So now I just have to roll in 3 eyeshadows and I just hope they're good ones. I do have 355 eyeshadows available, so let's see which 3 new eyeshadows I'm going to roll in. Hopefully the penning gods are happy with my progress, so let's see. The first one is 195, the second one is 214, and the last one is going to be 217. So pretty middle shades. Let's see which ones these are. I'm going to go get them. I'm not going to look at them as always, and I'm going to look at them when I'm here with you. So a second. So I'm super curious to see which shades I'm going to work with. This is a neutral palette and this is a pastel palette. Oh my god. I'm super excited to know which shades I'm going to work with. And the first one is from the 77 Bare All Raw palette, and the shade that I will be working on is the shade number 6, and that is going to be, oh, this shimmery one. I don't really remember how this one performs. I do want to say it's not the smoothest shimmer shade, but let's see how I'm going to do with it, and I'm super excited about it. It is a very good shade for autumn, I feel like. It's a very good shade to get into these colder months, so I'm super excited about this one, so yay! About the pastel palette, that one I'm not afraid of it, but I'm super curious as well, because pastels in the spring and in the summer, it's probably a bit better. Well, not better, because you can use whatever shade you want in whatever season, but I do feel like we tend to go to those more colorful shades in the summer and in the spring. So yeah, I'm curious about it, but let's see. Both shades are from this palette. The first shade that I will be working on from this palette, it is this pinky shade, and I do feel, oh, it's going to go pretty well with the purpley one, probably, to blend it out. Yeah, I think so. I think that it's going to go together pretty well. So this is the first shade from this palette, and I'm curious about it. I've used it, but I don't really have a strong opinion with this palette. I didn't even say the name of this palette. I'm sorry. I'm such a bad project planner. I'm sorry. This palette is from the brand Lovely Cosmetics. I think it's Lovely Cosmetics. Well, it's not an English brand, so it's not cosmetics, probably. I do think it's a Polish brand, but I'm not really sure. But it is the Pastel Tropics palette. It is a collab with this YouTuber. I don't really want to say her name because I don't want to butcher it, but her makeup looks beautiful. I watched a video about this palette, but I cannot understand because it's not in English, but yeah, I watched it because if it's a collab, I want to know what the person is doing with it, even though I did not understand a word she was saying. But yeah, she does amazing makeup looks, and that's all I know because I don't understand what she says. And the second shade that I'm going to be working on this palette, it is the 9th shade, and it is this one, and as you can see, it is a brown shade. So we do have a neutral shade in this rotation. It is kind of a brown shade like the last one, a bit more warm toned. I don't think it is as yellow as the other one, but we'll see how I feel about this brown as well. But I'm super excited about these 3 new eyeshadows and these 2 new pens. But this is how my color story is looking like. It's a bit different. I still have the green, so that still pulls a bit more to the green, but I feel like it's different altogether. I do have a similar brown, but other than that, I feel like it's a pretty interesting color story. And then again, the pastels for October, I don't really know how that is going to look like, but it's a pastel pink that I can blend the purple with, and it's a pastel brown that I can just use with the shimmer shade, probably with the green one. I have to see if they go together well or not, but I can just use the brown shade. It looks like this, where I'm not really wearing too much eyeshadow, just a brown, and that's it. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I feel like I'm all over the place. I'm still not really used to filming these updates. I'm like, am I saying everything that I wanted to say? So I'm sorry if I forgot about anything, but if you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments and I'll respond to you. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!